feel-good blowout victory for the Illini was just what the doctor ordered, 71-51 over the Indiana Hoosiers. This video is brought to you by Famous Amos. That's a joke, but Dion's eating a bag of Famous Amos chocolate chip cookies at 7 a.m. West Coast time. Never forget. This video is brought to you by Tinker Coffee, the Midwest's best coffee, ships all the way out to Dion on that West Coast. How does it pair with chocolate chip cookies?
Honestly, really good. Woke up around 5, had to stretch, got loose because I had Cullen car takes to get off on the Michigan State recap. So I had to make sure I was up and ready for that. And Tinker and Famous Amos got me locked in. But most importantly, Tinker coffee, the only coffee I've ever drank.
Yeah, I feel like Tinker and Famous Amos cookies, at first glance, not a pairing you would ever think you would want. But then maybe give it a chance, and then maybe all of a sudden 3 months later you look up and it's Keaton Wagler and David Mirkovich. That's what Illinois' weird-looking pairing has become. This was a Merck game, and it was a Merck game that warmed my heart because as the original David Mirkovich believer, as the guy who has been loving this kid since the moment I laid eyes on his basketball in an Illinois uniform, I think there's a whole nother level of this that we get to at some point before he leaves Illinois when they just want everything from Merck, right? This year's team wants everything from Keaton, and for good reason. But on a night where Keaton plays 39 minutes, shoots 15 shots, he was good. David Mirkovich was the best player, and it's got me really thinking what the future looks like. He finished with 25, 7 and 3, 0 turnovers. He hit three threes. I have compared him to baby Draymond all year. He reminds me so much of Draymond Green, the college basketball player, not talking anything about once he got to the Warriors. But I just think this is a kid at some point before he's gone, he's going to be an All-American. He's going to be a guy that is winning you basketball games sort of as the alpha on a basketball team. And apparently, stories coming out from this game, he took the Wisconsin loss really personally. I guess he sent Brad Underwood and staff a message the night of the Wisconsin game and basically said, Coach, this loss is on me. I wasn't ready to play. It's all on me. Like, you're going to get my best going forward. And Brad said he had an amazing week of practice, and I certainly think this was Merck's best game in an Illinois uniform. Are you surprised by any of this? Why was he so dominant in this game?
I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, I was surprised by it. I mean, he hit three threes, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, like two of them came on back-to-back possessions, right? They had it was to get him to 27 and 30 points. And
He
I
finished with 25.
Yeah, no, I mean the Illinois, the team. My bad. Like
Oh,
they were
okay,
at
okay.
24 points, and then he went on like a personal 6-0 run, both for threes. If he's hitting threes in that manner, he's really hard to guard because you don't want to give him too much space because he'll pass it over you. If you close out on him, he's bigger, stronger than you, quicker. He's going to take you to the post, and he can pass out the post. Shortly after hitting both threes, you saw he was posted up. They trap him. He finds Big T on a back cut for a layup. Right, like his game is so like talented. He can kind of do everything on the court, but I mean, obviously, like if you told me any game, like, oh, this is the game where Merck scores 25 points, like I don't think I'd believe you right away just because of how much talent is on this Illinois team. I don't think it's a huge coincidence he did it with Andre not playing though. I hate to be that guy. I don't think that's a huge coincidence though.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Andre absence, which is lingering. And I speculated, I nailed the prediction in the preview that Andre would miss this game, but Kylin would be back. Kylin had a big old club on his hand and was flying around defensively, took the Lamar Wilkerson assignment. It was good to see him back. So there are lingering, ongoing injury situations to discuss with this Illinois team. That is for sure. And I think you're right, just to an extent, Merck is more involved. And it's not just Andre. I think it would be the same, in games without Kylin. It would be the same in games without Keaton, God forbid, without Big T, whoever. Subtract someone from the top five on this team, and Merck is going to start to do a lot more. That is the versatility that is Merck to me. Like, if you need him to be the fifth option and get you 20 rebounds and assists, he can do that. If you need him to go score 20, I think he can do that. I would point to the fact that Merck has scored in double figures one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 straight games here in conference play. And that entire stretch basically has come without Kylin out and now without Andre out. He's become more consistent as a scorer than he even was in some of the non-conference portion of the season. And he's efficient. He's making his threes. He's shooting 43% from three in conference play. That's the fifth best mark of anyone in the league. I mean, I watch him shoot, Dion. I don't question the jumper at all. Do you?
No, I don't. I think I mean I think it has some growth in terms of like the volume and consistency, of course, but like it's clearly there. I mean, he had a Jokic step back, or honestly, it might be a little bit more of a Derek Queen step back at some point in this game too. But he looked phenomenal. I mean, I think like the reason I brought up Andre specifically in terms of like because obviously his usage is going to go up no matter how much, no matter who's out. I think he benefits a ton with spacing though, and I think Andre kind of takes away for a lot of what Merck can do.
Yeah, I think that applies to Keaton too and
Yeah.
everyone, right? It's why I've been in the camp I've been in on Andre all year of like, if he's not getting you 20, does he make it easier on the guys you do want to get you 20? Not necessarily, but that's basketball. Everything's a puzzle. Andre still has a lot of value and they need to get him back. I'm certainly not saying that. I don't know. Again, I'm such a Merc fan. I think I'm probably his biggest non-Illinois oriented fan. I know the fan base loves Merck, but it's not a bit when I run around talking about how much I love this kid. I just see so much versatility. I see a dog on the glass. I see a like how many 6'9", 250-pound power forwards can get you 5 assists in a game, and Merck can do that like effortlessly in his sleep. Meanwhile, he is literally the fifth best three-point shooter in the conference on super high volume. He can mold his game to whatever his team needs, and he's probably in essence like on court wise the most unselfish player on this Illinois team like by far. And there's a lot of unselfish. There's a lot of sacrifice going on. But none of this works without Merck being able to just like bend his game into whatever the specific game calls for. And I appreciate him going back to the Wisconsin game because I think Merck has shown some real leadership qualities on this team. And is there a level of psychosis delusion to it? A little bit. Merck was not terrible in the Wisconsin game. I said it was a bad game. He finished with 12 and 6, made three threes, and 4 turnovers were the problem. But for a freshman, first time kid at Illinois in the middle of conference play to sort of take ownership of a performance like that on a night where, mind you, Andre and Kylin were out and put so much of the responsibility of that loss on him and then follow it up with a response like this. To me, that's what makes Merck special. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for the stretch run of this season from Merck, but more so the future, man, because Merck, I would assume, is going to be the highest paid player on Illinois next year.
Yeah.
And they're going to try deliberately to surround him with things they think are best for him. And I'm very curious what that looks like.
I think um to your point about like him being the highest paid player, like what it looks like, that's something that could be really special. But also the reason I think it could be really special is something you also said about him owning the Wisconsin game and coming back with a performance like this. To me, that's the difference between the European freshman and the American freshman. There's just a little bit more maturity there from having played pro ball at such a young age and not really played in high school. And like if we're being honest, some of these high school kids don't really face adversity at all. Like in high
Yeah.
school, like you just go 40-0 every single year, and then you have to learn how to lose. And you have to learn how to be on a team that has ups and downs, and you have to learn all these different things. Merck's been through it all, and I think there's a little bit more maturity there to where it's like sophomore year Merck is going to be a little bit more like a senior in terms of how vocal he can be on and off the court in terms of leadership, right? And I think that that portion of this isn't being talked about enough. This is like a guy who, could be a 4-year guy for Brad, but within those 4 years, you're really getting a guy that's going to have the maturity that's 6, 7 years down the line, just because of all the wealth of experience he had in Europe. And I don't necessarily think the talent level is different between the high schoolers and the Europeans, but I do think mentally is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I like that point too. I mean, he's a kid, very interesting story to get where he's gotten, right? Like high level European player, guy that had a lot of prestige as a prospect, but man, so did Mihajlo Petrovic. right?
Yeah.
Different situations. One was an 18-year-old kid and one's older, but like I don't think necessarily in terms of the profile of guys that were coming to Champaign. Nobody expected Merck to be this good. Nobody
Yeah.
expected Petro to have the issues he's had. So it's kind of a crapshoot, but I'm just impressed. I can tell you this. I love watching it, right? I think people have picked up on the fact I'm being very sincere with my love for watching this basketball team.
Yeah.
And it's because I love watching Keaton play and I love watching Merck play. And whoever you put around those guys, like I'm just gonna remember that duo is one of my favorite duos to ever watch. It's kind of crazy that I had a moment in this game. This was the big alumni game for Brad. They had Kasparis and Will Riley back courtside. Dane Danger was in the building. That warmed Cart's heart. I know that. I think there were a bunch of other guys there. I don't know if the universe knew this or not, but I was out to dinner after this game with some friends, and Coleman Hawkins was on TV in Kalamazoo, Michigan, at a sports bar with 30 TVs. 10 of them had Coleman Hawkins' prolific prep on. And like an interview with Coleman, they kept going to him every 5 seconds to like narrate. I'm like, I have no idea why we're watching this from 6 years ago, but it's like the universe knew that this was Illinois' Alumni Day and it was supposed to be a special day. While this was happening, while they kept cutting to Kasparis and Will Riley, it did dawn on me Keaton and Mert dominating this game as freshmen at point guard and the four, stretch four, in front of Kasparis and Will Riley, whose basically vacancies they stepped into, was kind of a full circle moment, you know?
Terrence wasn't there?
Terrence was there too, I believe. He was
Okay.
they said he was practicing with the team.
Okay. Okay. I think it is a very full circle moment. I kind of was chuckling at all of it because Duke had their alumni night too. It's just hearing the difference in the names is like a little funny, but I think I mean Keaton and Merck could be like the best from all this like Brad Underwood group, right? Like maybe Io probably is the best at the moment, but Keaton and Merck definitely Keaton.
Keaton's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Keaton. Like he's gonna be the first top 10 pick, right?
Depending on what happens in March, like Keaton could easily go down as the greatest Illinois player.
Yeah, and I think that's meaningful that they all were there to watch him, including Dane Danger, who might still have eligibility. You never know. Um, but I think it's a fun like passing of the torch. Like go get us one in March. Like we're here to acknowledge how good you guys are. Full circle moment for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing that would have made it better is if we like retired a jersey and it was upside down.
It feels like the healthiest Brad's program has ever been. And I'm not saying it's been an unhealthy program. They've been in the top five of the league for 6 years now. They've had Final Four worthy teams, and they had the Elite Eight year, obviously, which was a great run. But I think this is maybe the first moment where I've taken it all in from like a culture standpoint and realized there is a solidified culture that is working. Like Brad's tenure up until this year, really to me, has been defined by chaos and departures and kind of like I don't want to say quitting on guys, but either you become a superstar or like I'm done with you and I'm getting new guys in. And I don't know, for whatever reason, like even Kasparis, he got scapegoated so hard at the end of last year and into the early offseason. Like so much of the narrative went from Kasparis is an amazing player to like he was the reason our team had all these problems. We have to get more mature and better decision making and older and all these things. And in the end, like they just got a better Kasparis. That's all they did. Like Keaton, yes, he makes more decisions, but he's a better freshman guard than Kasparis was. And I don't know, it kind of for me, it felt like a deserved moment of appreciation for Kasparis and Will, who did not have a great year at Illinois, but individually showed out. And I think it would have been really easy to sort of have them be forgotten in the timeline here. Instead, like, no, we're celebrating them on a day we're also winning by 20 with a remix version of them. Like
Yeah.
you can really easily envision like 2, 3 years down the line, it's Keaton and Merck's turn to come back, and there's a different freshman with a different international player Like now they've got the pipelines going and it feels healthy for the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like they're building, like obviously I chuckled at it, but how healthy is it that they can have NBA guys come back the way Duke can, even if it's not Cooper Flag, right? But Man Man was there for Duke. Io's better than Man Man,
Deion James was in the locker room. So
Huh?
Deion James was in the locker room. Yeah.
That dude's like a knockdown shooter now. It makes no sense. I don't. It makes no sense. But But like I look at both like this. That was Shire's way of saying, "Hey, here's my guys. I'm building something the way Coach K built it." And like this was Brad's way of saying, "I'm also here now too. Like I got
Yeah.
dudes that get to come back also, right?" And Terrence Shannon Jr. practicing with the team. I just saw online that he was actually like he was the scout for Lamar Wilkerson. Um, that feels like no comment, but like if you're Lamar Wilkerson, you got to feel good about that. By the way, Terrence Shannon Jr. hasn't played since Christmas. I don't know how Minnesota feels about him, like all of a sudden being the scout for Lamar Wilkerson when he hasn't played in 2 months, but he will be back after the All-Star break. Uh, Overall, though, I just think it was a good weekend for Illinois basketball, past, present, future, all combining together to kind of come together for one moment. And like at the end of the day, like it's like you mentioned, Keaton's for sure getting his jersey retired next year. The problem is he probably won't be able to do it this weekend because Keaton might be a little busy during All-Star weekend.
I could be. We'll see. Rising Stars game will be calling. Yeah, it was just a feel good. That's the way I would call it. It felt like a feel good appreciation weekend for all things past, present, future, and cool moment. Also, Luke Goody Bowl is the day they did that for. This was between Luke Goody's two teams, and I saw some of the former players were tweeting at Luke, who you're rooting for. That got me cracking up as well. We should just make Alumni Weekend the Luke Goody game every single year. I think, you know.
Luke Goody bobblehead night, Luke Goody jersey night. We just give out Luke Goody stuff every single year.
It's always Illinois, Indiana, and it's always like which one is Luke Goody rooting for? Oh, all our NBA players are back. I think that's a fun way to wrap this all up. Speaking of Indiana, we're gonna save them for the end. I do want to do at least like 10 minutes on this Indiana team, but the fact that this game was really like a blowout. I mean, it was a 7 point halftime lead, and then they just came out the gates at halftime and blitzed them. Was this more about who Illinois is or more about who Indiana is?
Um, can I say a mixture of both? I think it's more about who Illinois could be. I
Okay.
would say that. Like I think Illinois could be this good. You could get Merck and Keaton together going crazy like this. You could, but I don't know that you will every single game. But like it's more about who Illinois could be to me. Um, I mean Indiana's probably dead as well.
Yeah, so Illinois is awesome. I don't even need like the could attachment to it, but they're awesome. I think they're a top five team in the sport. They're great. Still not fully healthy with Andre out, and I really got to be honest. I didn't think they played all that well in this game. They shot 22% from three on like a lot of really good looks. Jake Davis and Benham Rickhouse went 1 for 10 combined from three. Add the Aviciches into that, 2 for 18 from Big Z, Big T, Jake Davis, and Rickhouse. Like, yeah, they won by 20.
Yeah.
If they just make shots or shoot their season average, they win by 40 in this game. And again, they're really good. They earned this victory with domination on the glass that I want to talk about. Merck and Keaton were stellar. They're really, really, really good. The fact that this was not even close on a night where Illinois couldn't hit a shot at all, to me, is a lot about Indiana. It's just a lot. They had no answers. Their front court got devoured. You had two starters in Dorn and Enright combined for 1 point in 68 minutes. Like this just their mid-major colors, who they actually are, showed in this game. You know?
Yeah. I mean Indiana's probably dead, to be honest with you. But like they might have been dead coming into this game too, though. This might have just been the final nail in the coffin. I do
They've
think
had
they
a
make
good
a turn.
month. That Wisconsin win's going to age really well. The Purdue win is aging tremendously already. Like, I don't want to take anything away from this Illinois victory. I'm just it was jarring to me how many guys on Indiana did not belong on the court with Illinois in this game. You know?
Tuck does seem like he's getting in shape a little bit, though.
Yeah,
Like he's starting to slim down, you know.
thanks thanks to Tough.
If he was buying double XL shirts, we're down to XL, I'm thinking, you know. We still got some room to go, but we're almost there. It's only February. We still got a few weeks.
In Indiana's defense, they couldn't make a jumper either. They shot 25% from three. I kept looking up in this game like, how is Illinois only up 20? And I know it sounds crazy. They're up 20, but like they were missing every three they took. Like, and this is
Yeah.
an Illinois team that's a great shooting team. You very rarely get a bad Illinois shooting night. You got one. That's like the greatest gift from the gods if you're an Illinois opponent. And to not be able to capitalize and make it interesting left a sour taste in my mouth.
I think it's pretty telling everything we spoke about Illinois, like the reunion weekend, the NBA guys, so on and so forth. If this was at assembly, who would return for Indiana at this point, right? And I think that portion of where these two programs are at is really telling, and I think it played out in this game. Indiana is not on the same level that Illinois is at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, transitionary period. Darren Every's year one, but we'll see. I mean, fast forward a year, we'll see if like Lamar and Tucker are back for something like that. I don't know. All right, back to Illinois. I said Keaton Boswell. Kylin Boswell's return from injury here. He plays 32 minutes, 9 points on 10 shot attempts, 1 for 3 from three, 7 rebounds, 4 offensive boards. He was flying around. He had as many offensive rebounds in this game as Indiana's entire team did. It's a crazy stat for Kylin in a return from injury. He had 2 assists to 1 turnover, 1 steal, 2 fouls. What was your eye test of Kylin's return? Because I have some theories here that go off of what I thought last week on this whole situation.
I thought it was early. I mean, I thought he played well. Like, don't get me wrong. I thought he was fine. Like you know, he was 1 of 3 from three, 3 of 7 from the floor, 9 points, chipped in a steal. I thought he played good defense. I thought he moved the ball around well. I think it's early though. Like, I don't think he was expecting to play on February 15th. Like, I think he is playing on February 15th, but there's no way you have that thing on your shooting hand if you are like supposed to be on the court for sure, right? Like, you're probably cleared to play. I'm sure they gave him some pain meds and he's feeling okay. But that wasn't like a wrap. Like that thing could have done damage. If he went up to block somebody's shot and missed and hit him in the head, like that was a pretty heavy bandage cast, whatever it was on his hand. Like I think his return is pretty early here.
Yeah, there was like a enormous, I don't even know what you call it, like cast mitt club. It felt like he had a
Yeah,
club on his hand.
yeah.
Look, I actually thought he was more effective than I thought he would be. And one of my questions when I found out he was starting in this game was, is he going to be on a minutes restriction? The answer was no. He plays 32 minutes. That was the third most of Illinois behind the two freshmen. They ran a 7-man rotation. That again, they did not give Brandon Lee or Mihailo Petrovic even 1 minute in this game. So like very clearly Brad has said this is our playing group and this is our non-playing group. There's 8 guys we want to play on this team. If we're missing one of them, we'll play 7. If we're missing 2 of them, we'll play 6. God forbid if we're ever missing 3 of them, we'll play 5. I think that's how Brad is gonna run this. And that's okay. If that's how he wants to run it, that's okay. I didn't think Kylan looked all that healthy at all. And I think he's tough as nails. I think this kid is a competitor through and through that is everything that is right about Illinois basketball right now. He loves this program. I think he truly cares and is doing everything in his power to lead this program to a Final Four. And he's kind of the guy, again, with Kasparis and Wilson courtside, he's the guy that's like threading the needle between teams, right? Kylan played with those guys, and now he's playing with these guys. And we're going to look back on Kylan really fondly when his Illinois time ends as a competitor and a culture guy, an everyday guy that embodies Brad Underwood's program. I give him credit for returning because if Andrei Stoyakovich is going to miss games, they need Kylan, especially against a team that employs perimeter stars like Lamar Wilkerson. And Kylan took on the challenge of Lamar from start to finish, guarded him the entire time he was on the court. Lamar went 8 for 14 Like it was not a bad Lamar night by any means. Only 2 for 7 from three, finished with 21 points. So, I'm not acting like he locked down their star, but I think you easily could have seen Lamar go for good 30 or 40 if Kylan's not in that game. So I give him credit for returning, but you kind of alluded to it. It felt early. And I mean, eye test wise to you, do you think he's close to full health right now?
No. No, no, no. You don't have that. Like, I don't know what it was, but like you mentioned, a club. It looks like the thing football players wear when, like, the linebackers, when they break their hand and then they just throw something on it. But it works for football players because they just punch people. And then, like that, then you get a lot of fumbles with the club. It doesn't seem like it's got, like, there's no way it's easy to, like, shoot with that thing on his hand, if we're being honest, right? There's no way, like, that's beneficial to what he's trying to do on the court. Um, so I don't know. I don't really understand it. I mean, they had a tough loss against Michigan State, but I don't understand why you rush Kylan back with the way this team's playing. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Well, you rush him back because Andre's not available, and you
Mm,
just lost to Wisconsin without both of them, right? So, like, I think they were fearful that Lamar and Tucker bomb threes on him from the perimeter, and they don't have the answers. And I know there were people pushing back on sort of some of my feelings on this last week. Ultimately, my feelings led me to predict that Andre wouldn't play and Kylan would. Um, just speaking for myself personally here, my own personal interpretation of all of this, both from what you can see on your television screen and some rumblings of what's going on behind the scenes here, I think they rushed Kylan back. And that's because Kylan's a competitor. He probably went to Brad and said, I want to play. Wrap me up. Let's go. The team needs me. And power to him. Like I applaud Kylin Boswell for doing this. Um, we'll have to see. Hopefully, just some game rust breaks him back in. But like Dion, he missed a few layups in this game, right? Like it looked like he didn't trust his hand yet in certain ways. And he hit 1 for 3 from three. I was watching that. Like, would he still be a willing shooter?
right.
So, 1 for 3 is a good output for Kylan. I just want to see more. I want to watch it a little more. And the early return to me, he's going to be fine defensively. I worry about the hand, and I worry that he's like at 50% trying to play through this right now. The obvious second half of this with Kylan rushing back is Andrei Stoyakovich. Did not play in this game. Second consecutive game he did not play. Last week, Cart and I went in depth on this, but I theorized that the coaching staff was surprised that he didn't play against Wisconsin. They sent him to media obligation the game before. You don't do that if you expect a player not to play. Brad in the post-game game after Wisconsin was very short about Andre. Basically said, it's an ankle sprain. It's an ankle sprain. I don't know. I don't know. Ask him. I don't know. Didn't feel like he had any sort of insight as to why Andre wasn't playing the way that he was talking about Kylan's injury. Well, Andre doesn't play this game. He was out getting shots up pregame, and a bunch of video clips surfaced from media members in attendance sharing that. Did look like he almost has changed his jumpers form, by the way, like just smoother looking jumper. So I don't know what's going on there, but shooting, not playing. After this game, Brad Underwood said this quote, Andre's still coming back. You got to be able to do it in practice and have that healthy. My biggest concern is the health of us long term. If that means he needs to stay at home from LA and live in hyperbaric, we'll do that. They go on an LA trip this week, right? The next swing here is USC and UCLA on Wednesday and Saturday. Andre is from California. And your coach is saying 2 days before the West Coast trip, if he needs to stay home from LA and
Yeah.
live in a hyperbaric chamber, we'll do that. I've gone on record before. I think Brad can play some mind games. I have an interpretation of this I can speak to, but I mean, injured players go on the West Coast trip all the time.
Yeah.
Injured players from California most certainly go on the West Coast trip to LA.
Yeah.
And Brad seems to be either joking or not joking that Andre may not travel with the team. This is all escalating very quickly from we're surprised he's not playing against Wisconsin to, well, we're worried about long term health and put him in a hyperbaric chamber. Don't let him travel with the team. What is your interpretation of what's going on here?
I there's a lot of mixed messaging, right? So he defined it as an ankle sprain and then came back and defined it as a high ankle sprain. And those are just like respectfully to Brad and Andre and everybody involved, like those are just like really different injuries to me. Like an ankle sprain is something that like, a couple days and you all you have to do is get the swelling down, right? And then at that point it's a pain tolerance thing. A high ankle sprain is essentially like you fractured some bones. Like it takes us it doesn't take forever to heal, right? Like you're not out months, but like he's out like a couple weeks, right? Those are two really different injuries. Um, I mean, I'm assuming like he also mentioned like he's not going to miss time without practicing, which means he hasn't practiced yet. Which probably lends to the like, well, why would you come on this trip? I also think like, I mean, he probably can't have too much swelling if he's shooting jump shots, but maybe there's some concern about like him getting on that flight, having like some setbacks, because that's a big thing with ankle injuries is like, should you be flying on it? Because if the swelling comes back, you kind of go back to square one. Um, I don't understand his frustration if it's a high ankle sprain, though. I think I'd be on Andre's side. Like if it's truly like a situation where Brad like is saying, hey, like he has a high ankle sprain, I think I'm on Andre's side. If it's just an ankle sprain like he mentioned originally, then I think I get where Brad's coming from, where it's just like, can you play, man? I don't know. Seems to be some mixed messaging here. But clearly Andre isn't ready to play. And I'll be honest with you, Kylin doesn't look ready to play either. West Coast swing ain't that tough, man. I think Keaton should be able to go get you one or two.
Yeah, I I mean, whatever is going on, don't rush Andre back, I think is the right approach. You needed to rush one of these two back. And if you've made the decision to rush Kylin back and Kylin has a pain tolerance that is going to allow him to play through a broken hand, basically, then okay, do it. Like if you have Kylin back, I don't think you need Andre back right now, given what Keaton and Merck have become. Um, there's a lot of data that shows more shooting on the floor is a good thing for this team anyway. So, my main concern would honestly just be like, I hope he can come back a couple games before the NCAA tournament at minimum. I don't think you want to be breaking Andre back into the rotation in like postseason games. So you want to figure that out, but get him fully healthy, give him time. If he needs space and time to heal, give him time to heal. Um, I think the most positive, rosy interpretation of this that I can give on behalf of Brad is going to sound like a big negative for Brad. Um, if they misdiagnosed this as like something he should be playing through, and then 4 days later decided no, that it's a serious high ankle sprain, then at least I get where Brad's coming from with his commentary on this. Um, that's still bad. Like I would hope the Illinois medical team isn't misdiagnosing ankle sprains. But I don't know. I asked around a little bit to people we talk Illinois with behind the scenes, and I don't get the greatest vibes feeling here. So that's all I'm saying. It's not reporting from me. It's certainly rumor more than anything here. But I still do not think Illinois as staff is overly happy with where Andre is right now. And I think Brad sort of kind of jokingly threatening he shouldn't come on the West Coast trip feels like a pretty big moment at a podium for a head coach to say about an important player, especially when he's from California and he's going to have family there. So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I think they need Andre. Like they need Andre in the NCAA tournament to really have a chance to win a national championship. He is part of what makes his team special, and he's really important to the depth. Um, I also kind of personal reading of the situation. I think that this is part Andre's advisors encouraging him not to rush back. But let's be clear, he's not like Darren Peterson here. He's not protecting a first overall pick situation, right?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Why?
Well, he's mocked in the second round, basically by all services. So I think Andre's going to have a decision to make about like, am I ready for the NBA or not? I would have said a week ago that Illinois' number two priority is one, get Merck back, two, get Andre back. Pay Andre millions of dollars to come back and play a second year in Champaign.
Yeah.
I would have thought that's beneficial for all parties, but I'm certainly not getting the vibes that either party is trending in that way right now, you know?
It certainly doesn't feel like it. I mean, where in the second round is he mocked?
Like middle late. But like good NCAA tournament run.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a couple 20-point games in the tournament or something.
If it's as simple as like we want to be healthy for the run, I think that benefits both parties. Seriously, like I mean, obviously you if you're Andre, you want to play in front of your family and at UCLA and USC, of course, but I think if it's a situation where it's like, hey, if he sits this week out, lives in a hyperbolic chamber, or whatever joke Brad made, this is the best version of him going into Michigan on the 27th, the Big Ten tournament, March Madness. I think that benefits everybody. I do believe Illinois needs Andre for the big ones. I think Andre probably, if you're middle late second round, like respectfully, that's a two-way. So you probably want to like boost your stock some to ensure you're actually playing in the NBA next year, right? And not just like Stockton Kings instead of the Sacramento Kings. And I think there's a lot of room for growth for both parties in this if you can get healthy. Now, the problem with Andre to me in these injuries is, and you've alluded to this on many videos throughout the year, it's not that he's hurt. It's the how hurt is he stuff, right? Like it seems consistent with every injury Andre has. There's question marks about like how hurt is he? Is when's he going to return? Can he play? Can he not play? Brad seems like this. Brad's saying this, but like nothing's really happening. Why? Like that's the portion of this that's like why? Like why can't Brad or Andre, whoever, just come out and be like high ankle sprain? We'll see you in 2 weeks. I don't think anybody bats an eye. It's the portion of like you mentioned, he did media. He's getting up jumpers. Brad's ominous press conferences. All of it like lends to like a bad look for Andre, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that you're saying it's a bad look for Andre, but like to me, whether it was the knee injury in September where we didn't know if he was going to practice before the season and it was ominous, or now this ankle sprain where it's like, what is the actual injury? That's where I get kind of out on all this. I have no issue with injuries in general, right? Like people get hurt. That's life. I'm dealing with some Achilles soreness at the moment. Haven't played pickup in 2 weeks personally, but like that was a read on my part. I texted the group chat, yo, I'm out with an Achilles injury. I want Andre to be like, yo, I'm out with a high ankle sprain, and I think I'd move off this topic.
Yeah, whatever is going on, it hasn't been handled from a PR perspective great, I would say. It's also not a distraction. They just won this game by 20 and everyone's happy and everyone's playing well. So, you know, we're not making this doomsday. I'm just trying to share what little I am hearing from real conversations on this. And
Right.
what I am hearing is like this, there's something going on here. So it's not just like completely cut and dry. A normal situation. Added to it, right? Maybe to conclude this portion of this, I think part of why this stands out as strange is because everybody else on this team is such a competitive guy, right? Kylin is returning to this with a broken hand. Wrap my shit up. Let me guard their best player for 32 minutes. Merck is a freak, right? The Avisage twins, say what you want about them. Those guys compete. Um, I think Jake Davis and Ben Brickhouse role players are competitors. Those guys are kind of Iron Man. They don't really miss games. And I think Keaton, I mean, he takes a beating every single game, plays 40 minutes and just gets up, stern face like nothing. And there's a real toughness to this Illinois team that hasn't existed last year, at least. Maybe the Terrence Shannon team had it, but you know, going back throughout Brad's tenure, I think this is probably the toughest team Illinois had. And it's a young team and it's a European team, but they're tough. And it stands out when someone's not living up to that. And if, look, again, he needs to get healthy. So if he's at a 20%, right, he needs to go get healthy.
Yeah.
but he finished the Michigan State game, was sent to media as if he's playing Wisconsin, and suddenly it's, man, I need time. Um, it's a tough pill to swallow. Again, there are a lot of extra stuff that goes on in college hoops these days. Izzo deals with Colin Carr's agent. Michigan's got like 17 different agents at the same time, right? So I don't know what Andre's personal situation is. He comes from an NBA family, obviously. I would assume there are people that are like, you got to play the long game here, Andre. Play the long game. That's not even the wrong decision from Andre's standpoint. I just will say this, it stands out. If Kylin's wrapping his shit up and guarding Lamar Wilkerson for 32 minutes, and Andre's like, man, I need a hyperbaric chamber. I don't know if I can come to the West Coast trip. Like, it's different. And how Brad navigates this down the stretch run of the season will be interesting.
It's so interesting to me because I would love for them to meet in the middle. Like I would love Keaton to sit out another week, and I'd probably love Andre to play a week early.
Be good, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Well, I did float, just give like almost do like a pitching rotation. Every single game, Illinois gets to have a different player randomly out, and then like it rotates once every six, somebody's in. But I don't know, that all gets thrown off if Andre's going to miss serious time. In conclusion, Andre, get well. We all want to see this team at full strength, and I think they need him sooner rather than later for the NCAA tournament to reach their ultimate ceiling. This has to be the latest in a recap that we've ever pivoted to Keaton and his individual performance. 39 minutes, 18 points, only 1 for 4 from three, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, and 3 steals. He didn't turn it over once in 39 minutes, but Indiana doesn't turn teams over. And only 4 free throw attempts. Illinois as a team only shot 7 free throws in this game. Brad was prancing around, upset with the officiating at halftime. So, what'd you make of Keaton? This feels like a B game for Keaton at this point. Like nothing special, but dominated every facet of it.
yeah, ho hum Keaton performance. I thought his game looked smooth. He looked in control. He kind of did his thing. He let Merck control the game because he could sense the moment, which I really like. Braden does that phenomenal, by the way, right? Like when Braden knows, like, okay, Fletch might get 9 threes. He's finding Fletch when he knows it's a TK game. It's like TK is going crazy. Like I think Braden does that great. Keaton could tell early, okay, this is a Mirkovich game. He let Merck do his thing when Merck needed like kind of Batman and Robin. Merck was Batman in this game. When he needed Robin to get a bucket, Keaton got to the basket at will on this Indiana team. No one could really stop him. Um, I thought, yeah, it was like ho hum, but like it was a good game for him to have a ho hum B performance, right? Because Merck was like A plus performance.
Yeah, yeah. I just think his fingerprints are still all over this. Offensively, everything's humming for this team. This is a game I think he should have had like 6 or 7 assists. Finished with 3 because nobody could make a jumper, but
Mhm.
he made a bunch of really good plays. And did you think he deserves more calls? I mean, this is a game in general, Dion. 13 total free throw attempts between the two teams. Both these teams bomb threes and don't really do anything physical defensively. So it's not a shock that there were not many fouls called in this game. But
Yeah.
Brad, once again, really campaigning that Keaton's getting an unfair whistle.
Um, I mean, I'm looking at his numbers. I mean, he has 3 games with over 10 free throws, and they all come since January 24th. Um, Here's the tough part for Keaton. He's not athletic enough to get some of the calls other guys get. The answer is yes. I do think he deserves more calls. He'll never get them though. Like he's never going to get them because he's never going to take the falls that other guys take. He's never going to take the bumps other guys take. He's never going to be like pushed in midair, so on and so forth. So the way he gets fouled is a little bit more 50-50 than the way somebody else, like a Darius Acuff gets fouled. When Acuff gets fouled, he feels the foul because he's fallen on the ground. He was mid-flight and then he got pushed and so on and so forth. Like that's not going to happen with Keaton, unfortunately, just due to his lack of athleticism. So like overall, my answer would be yes, but I also just don't think he'll ever get them.
I think there's 1 to 2 a game where, he's not getting the superstar calls maybe that you expect from other guys. But we're going to do a short on this where we break this down. He gets to the line a lot.
Yeah.
He's eighth in the Big Ten individually in free throw rate. So, kind of running this campaign as if he's unfairly officiated when he has a very high free throw rate is a little misled by me, but I don't know. We'll talk more about it elsewhere. In this game, like the call before half, whatever, I didn't feel like Keaton was like deserving of 10 free throws in this game, and he got the line twice, made 3 of 4. So no complaints for me. Tommy Ivisic, really nice night, 14 and 6. Could have been better if he could make his shots, but he was 1 for 6 from three. I did think they got him involved down low more. He had 4 offensive rebounds. Some of his buckets in 2 point range were putbacks. Some of them were post entries. Indiana had zero answer down low for Illinois, both on the boards and rim protection in this game. Just a caliber difference, I thought. What'd you see from Tommy?
I thought Big T was just like Indiana has no bigs that can guard him, and he knew that. And well, Indiana, by the way, Indiana has no bigs that can guard anybody, and he knew that. I thought he just physically kind of just handled himself in this game. 1 of 6 from three, though, obviously not what you want out of him, but he kind of dominated the paint. I thought Keaton found him early to get him some easy looks. Mirk found him on a back cut. There's a lot of really easy looks. I don't know. I'm not trying to make it about Indiana, but Indiana's just like bad. To be honest with you, like this was just a really bad Indiana performance, and Big T kind of took advantage of it. A lot different looking game from him though than I think we've had in some of his recent games.
Yeah, I like when Tommy goes inside a little bit. He was 1 for 6 from three and 5 for 5 from two in this game. Back to back games for Tommy where he's made 5 twos. He had 2 games all season before this with more than 5 twos or 5 or more 2s. He had 5 for 7 from two against Tennessee, and he was 6 for 6 on opening night against Jackson State. He rarely ever gets that involved inside. And I think it's important they get him involved inside because I think he's good inside. He's got great touch, good finisher, skilled guy. He's just so damn big too. Like he doesn't need to go right through you and completely physically brutalize you. He can just turn and make his hook over most good post defenders. And this offense is so good. It's historically great, right? I think it still holds the highest Ken Palm offense ever rank. I'm not encouraging them to change anything offensively, but I am saying this: they could go to Tommy more. Like if anything ever breaks down, if they're not scoring enough from outside, you can always lean back on Tommy Ivisic, and it was good to see him deliver in this game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, how tall is he? 7'3", 7'2"?
7'1", 255.
Yeah, go inside. Go inside. Make a layup every once in a while, man. Like how many teams have a 7'1", 255 pound dude on their roster? You are allowed to dunk the ball, go inside, and get easy looks for yourself. It doesn't have to be all threes. You know what I mean? So I think it's a situation where they are better when he does this too because it opens up the floor for everybody else. So, let Big Z be the one launching threes, even though he's like 7'3", 7'4". He should probably go inside every once in a while himself. But I like when Big T plays physical. I think it's an element of his game he needs to bring out more if he plans to do what he's made very vocal that he would like to do, and that's play at the next level as early as 4 months from now.
Yeah, that the thing is, it's always fun to be the brother that shoots the threes. You never want to be the brother that goes inside. You want to be the brother that shoots the threes, and that's part of it. Is Z just looks so fun out there every single time. This was not a great Z game. Honestly, a diabolically bad Z game. He had 2 points, 0 rebounds, 0 blocks in 14 minutes. Missed both his threes. Brad basically went away from him,
Yeah.
which is fine, right? Now that Kylan's back, you don't really need to go to Big Z unless Z is playing well. But game before this, we saw a bunch of 2 big minutes, the Aviciches together. They only did that for 2 minutes in this game, and nothing good came from it.
Um, is this his first game of the season without a block?
There's got to be at least one other one. Yeah,
There's
not many.
three others. Bama, Tennessee, and Nebraska are the only other games where he didn't have a block. And Bama, he played 16, 17, and 10 minutes in each of those, right? So, I mean, the 10 minutes, you can kind of live with that without a block, but that feels telling, right? Like Big Z kind of fumbles into blocks and he didn't have one, right? No rebounds, that's crazy. But for Big Z to have a performance like this one, I gotta be honest with you, I think he's been the better Visage brother largely throughout the year. And for him to have this type of performance and they won by 20, this team is evolving in a way where it's like they have counters to everything. So, you throw a fastball, they can hit that. If you want to throw a curveball, they can hit that. If they're pitching, right? You're sitting on fastball, here comes a slider. They have so many different ways they can beat you now, and they have so many different guys that can step up to win basketball games. And so it's honestly it's vaguely more impressive that Brad went away from Big Z and they still won by 20.
Yeah, I think T is clearly the better brother again, but I thought Z was outplaying him for the first 2 months of the season. But you look at what Big Z's done lately. He has one game in double figures in their last eight. And this was one you didn't get the rebounding. Normally he at least rebounds and flies around blocking shots. I don't know. I think this is the beauty of having the two of them. You don't need both to be good. If Big Z is playing great, if he makes his first three, like you can let him fly for 22 minutes and maybe have the higher upside player. If he's clearly a liability or in his own head or having one of those inconsistent Z nights, you just go away from it and go back to playing Tommy 30 minutes. In a lot of ways, they really are protecting each other and combining to give you 40 great minutes at the four right now. But I would float this as a concern because I don't know that we've raised a Big Z concern all year. I think even in his bad games, pretty much up until now, we've kind of just been like, yeah, that's Big Z. He can be bad. Who cares? Like, he's fine. Hope he gets right. He'll be fine. Um, we have enough of a sample size now. We can call this out. He's down to 33% from three on the year. He's shooting 29% in conference play. He's shooting 23% against Ken Palm tier A and B opponents. Basically, against good teams, Big Z's been a 24% three-point shooter this year.
Yeah.
In conference plays, 29%. This guy felt like he couldn't miss for all of non-con. And just looking it up, he's won for his last 10 from three right now, going back last three games. So I don't know if that's a funk or what, but it doesn't make me feel all warm and fuzzy knowing like the biggest games of the season are coming up, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a like he's definitely like fallen off a bit. Um, but what he does on the court's so easy to return to, though, right? Like the form you want out of Big T is a little harder to get back to because you expect so much out of Big T, right? Like coming into the year, we all would have said Big T is the best player on this roster. He's the offensive engine, so on and so forth. I think what's making Big T so good lately is he's settling into a role and he's not trying to be the guy anymore, which is great. Like this is Keaton's team. Let me settle into the Robin role. Maybe Merk is the Robin some games, Andre is the Robin some games, but like let me just settle into a role and not try to do too much. Big Z should be able to get it back. Just block shots, rebound, shoot threes. That's all they're asking out of him. He needs to shoot better than he has lately. I mean, you mentioned the 29% from conference play. But I think Big Z being as big as he is, right, with everything that he does, like 7'2", 250, if he's blocking shots at a higher rate of like 2 to 3 per game, just got to get to like 31, 32%. Like he doesn't need to be a knockdown shooter.
Part of the reason he had zero blocks in this game too is just Indiana doesn't go inside. They shoot everything from three, and they weren't even trying to go inside on this team. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't even really blame for the rim protection. I'm just looking this up this is all hypothesis stuff, right? Five losses for Illinois this year. Big Z is 2 for 18 from three in those 5 games combined. I do think his shooting matters to this team. Like they need a little bit of injection of life. And going through his 3 years, right? He played at Kentucky as a freshman, Arkansas as a sophomore, Illinois as a junior. The trend of Big Z shooting worse against good teams, tier A and B, has been true in all 3 seasons. Freshman year, he was 25% from three against A and B opponents. He shot 38% from three over the whole season. Sophomore year, 32% against A and B. He shot 38% over the course of the season. This year, 29% against A and B. Or no, excuse me, 24% against A and B. 33% of the season. I think there's just something mentally for this guy. I think he plays big games and just kind of loses his powers, if that makes sense. And I don't know what you do with that if you're Illinois. You probably just have to have Big T be great for 28 minutes again, right? That's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just need Big T to be great, but also like, you know, tell Big Z to stick in the. Who was the guy that shot 100 shots after a loss last year for Illinois?
I don't remember who you're talking about.
Wasn't there some dude that maybe it was 2 years ago. There was some dude that posted to Instagram after like a loss, and they were getting jumpers up at like 2 in the morning, and it was
Oh,
hilarious.
wasn't that Mark Sears, Alabama guy?
That's right. It was
Yeah.
against Illinois though. Like he was bad against Illinois, and then he shot a million shots afterwards. Maybe Big Z just needs to do that a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because I do think they need big. Like, obviously, Big T playing more helps, and maybe you only get 12 minutes of Big Z. But I do think there's a correlation energy wise to a big Z block, and that makes Illinois go on a run, or a big Z three, and then they go on a run. So I do think you need him from a mental standpoint. So you got to work on the stuff that's being fixed because I don't think big T plays a lot of the word big in this.
So
But
much big. So
too
much
much
big.
big,
Yeah.
too much big. But I don't think the plays that T makes has as much of a mental impact on the team as the plays Z makes because he hits some threes that are like super contested and then everybody goes crazy. He has some massive blocks that gets the crowd and the bench into it. Like you need his energy.
Yeah, they're psychos,
Yeah.
right? They take care, they get fired up and they take care of their psycho, and he's the resident psycho. It feels to me like this is just going to be who he is through the end of conference play. Like he's just going to be a non-factor, shoot really poorly, and then like in the NCAA tournament, he's going to have a moment. And I'm not saying like win Illinois a game, but he'll snap out of a funk and have like 18 points in the round of 64. And everyone will rally around it. And then they'll play the better teams in the tournament again, and he'll just go back to being nothing. But he was so good for 2 months in the season. It's just kind of strange to see him struggle like this. Doesn't really matter for Illinois right now. Quickly, Davison Rickhouse 1 for 10 from three. Ben did get 8 rebounds in this game. So to all the people who act like those guys have no value on the court if they're not making shots, this could have been uglier if they made them. Ben was flying around rebounding. He had 2 steals defensively. I thought Jake helps. Jake's presence on the court just helps this team every time. So any concern with those guys missing shots in this game or just a bad night?
Shooters are gonna miss shots. At the end of the day, like nobody's perfect, and I think that's just this was just the same feeling I had about Fletch. Like he'll make them eventually. I think these guys will make them. Like you're always gonna have bad performances. I think it's unfortunate it happened in the same game. If that makes sense, like you don't really want that to happen, but also. Hey, if there was a game these guys were going to combine to be 1 of 10 from the 3-point line for, I think Indiana's the one you're okay with.
Yeah, okay. I have no concerns, except now I'm going to introduce a concern. This is new, trademark from me. So I think Dion, I was one of the biggest, still am one of the biggest proponents of Jake Davis, his value, his importance to this team. He reminds me of me when I watch him play basketball. Like I approach every offensive possession the same way he does, provide value by being in the corner and being in the right spot and make my shots when I have opportunities. Like I can help you. I really have such an appreciation for his game. I really do. And I think Illinois is better when he is on the court than with even healthy Andre a lot of times. I think we have reached a level that's about near the ceiling of this, though, that has me. This is why it matters getting Andre back. Um, Jake's just really involved. And he has to be when Kylin and Andre are out. He has to be when Kylin's arm is in a cast. Look, if they're open threes, I like them. I just think something has flipped in the last 4 games where Jake has now played 28, 28, 37, 25 minutes, shot 10 threes, 5 threes, 5 threes, 4 threes. I think you add this up, he's 7 for 24 from three in his last 4 games. And I think visually to me, some of these are quicker attempts than they usually are. Like he's clearly come into these games with a little more bravado of like, yeah, I'm Jake Davis. Yeah, like I'm a starter. I'm a top 4 guy on the team now. And that's good. I want him to be confident. He's not shooting it the way he can in this 4 game stretch. And I do think there's a little correlation to that. Again, to make it all about myself, if I'm the 5th best player on our team, we're awesome. If I'm approaching games like I'm going to get us 15 tonight and shoot 12 times, it doesn't usually work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what you do with it because he kind of needs to be more aggressive if Andre's going to miss games. But I'm kind of hoping we get Andre back quick and he can go back to like the original sixth man role he was playing, you know?
I think this is what happens when you prop guys up that aren't meant for the role. They just get a little too excited from time to time. And I think Jake Davis is in a moment where he's just a little too excited. And like you said, you got to get him back into the six man role, calm him down just a tad. But ultimately, like, this is why I caution all the time on like, let's not buy into this guy who like is very, very clearly just a role player and like try to make him a star. I'm not comparing Jake Davis to like anybody on Purdue, but like there's a couple guys on Purdue where like I wish they played lesser roles also, and now they can't for sure. But I caution with this stuff because he is just a role player and he's just a little too excited, and he should be. Jake Davis never expected to be in the spot that he's in right now, and he's doing exactly what he should do. But I definitely think there's going to be a large benefit to him getting back to a role that just makes a little bit more sense for everybody involved.
Yeah, and I love Jake Davis. He can do this, but
Yeah,
I want him taking open threes and making 50% of them, not like gunning because he knows that's his role and taking semi-contested threes off balance and making 30% of them. And I think there's been a little shift there with Andre out and needing to take on more responsibility.
yeah.
I love Jake Davis. Let's
Yeah.
let's get Andre back is my hope. Okay, Indiana, quickly thoughts in general.
Um, Gonna need an off season out of Darren. Gonna need an off season out of Darren. Tuck rounding into shape, whatever that means. I haven't fully figured out what that means, if I'm being honest with you. But Tuck is rounding into shape. Um, yeah, I don't know. You mentioned it earlier. There's a lot of mid-major guys on this team, and I think that's just the best way to describe it. There's just a lot of mid-major guys on this team.
If he gets him to the tournament, it's a great coaching job. But the flaws in this roster were on full display against a team of Illinois' caliber. And
Yeah,
Nick Doran's been really good for stretches of the season. He's been horrible for 4 games now. I mean, his quiet nights are just so quiet. 1 point in 33 minutes, 0 for 5 from the floor, with not really anything else chipped in, is just hard to win with. I don't know what you do with that. Tucker and Lamar are good. Lamar is great. Lamar should be on an All Big Ten team, if not the first team All Big Ten. But that's all they got. And Sam Alexis is trying. He's competing. He had 11 and 8 in this game. I almost there were points in this game where you felt bad for the Indiana Bigs. Like
yeah,
got out rebounded by 13, gave up 15 offensive boards. I mean, it is a team wide effort. Sam Alexis can't block everybody out. But these guys looked up and saw Lamar Wilkerson and Connor Enright and Nick Doran and said, well, we're just going to go at the rebound. There's nothing they can do. So, yeah, I hope it changes. I like some of the things he's doing from a recruiting perspective right now, but this portal class deserved criticism and was weird at the time. And he should get credit for Lamar, but the class as a whole is why this team is in the spot they're in, you know?
yeah. Listen, it's kind of amazing to me he wasn't able to find a singular big, right? Like I look around the Big Ten, it feels like every team has better bigs than Indiana. Maybe not every team, but there's a lot of big men that could be on this Indiana team that would make them better. None of them are. So, I feel like he home runs with the Lamar Wilkerson transfer, right? And Tuck has been out of shape, and obviously he wasn't going to go anywhere else, so you can't really call that a home run. But like, you got some guards and wings on this roster. Like they were kind of like a big away from being pretty good. I don't know what their schedule looks like to be honest with you, but I still think they can get into the tournament. And I say this all the time. Bubba owes my guy one. Like Bubba owes my guy one. So if they're close, I feel like Bubba should get him in there.
Purdue, Northwestern, Michigan State, Minnesota, Ohio State. Final
Go
five
through,
games.
go 3-2, and Bubba owes you one.
Yeah, if you're 3-2, you get in.
Yeah,
2-3, that assumes a bad loss somewhere, probably at Ohio State.
yeah,
That honestly, at Ohio State, final game of the regular season is probably a playing game. Winner gets
yeah.
in the tournament firmly, and the losers on the bubble. But yeah, I don't know. I Lamar, I feel bad for him. just because he is a tough cover. And even with Kylin back, he kind of got wherever he wanted in this game. Could have made more threes, could have been a bigger night, but he's a stud. And he deserves to have a chance to kind of like single-handedly take you on a March run, I think. But it's hard when you look around. And Alexis is doing everything he can too. Like I know we're acting like they got nothing at the five. Alexis has gotten better, and
Yeah.
he did have some moments early in this game before they pulled away where he was going right through Tommy Ivisic, and they got him a couple deep post touches, and he kind of just out physical power move through you. Like Tommy is not a great rim protector, so that kind of put that on tape for me of like there are some other teams who could capitalize on this when they play Illinois. Um, but I don't know. Right now too, like Sisley, what happened to Trent Sisley? He was giving them great minutes in non-conference, and Sisley is just unplayable in Big Ten play.
Yeah.
Darren, like this team needs some depth, man. Why is that going on? He was a big recruit.
Darren's a big cut the rotation guy during conference play.
Well, where does that leave Trent Sisley going forward? Like, I don't know, man. I think Sisley's a good player. He showed me a lot in the non-con, and I can't really believe he can't get minutes on a team where Nick Dorn's playing 33 minutes, you know?
Yeah, some of the guards that get in the game, Fred, like I do believe in the guards and wings on this team, but then some of the guard you name some of the ones that get in, it's like what do we got going on here?
Well, just why aren't they just giving Sisley some run at the four, slide Tucker to the three, and be a little bigger? I don't get it, especially if the front court's going to be bad. It's like, no, we need 33 minutes of Nick Dorn doing nothing.
I think a lot of that is Tuck's kind of fat,
Okay.
to be honest with you. I don't think they want Tuck at the three.
Yeah, that's fair. Enright quickly, 0 points on two shot attempts, 6 assists to 2 turnovers. He was guarding Wagler, doing everything he could to make it tough on Keaton. I've been impressed with Enright in the last month. I think he's turned into a really nice player and a guy that has caused a lot of problems for star perimeter players. Wasn't his night. What did you see?
Um, just outclassed. This wasn't a Connor Enright game. Every time we talk about Connor Enright, I think about his agent when he hit the portal making that post about him, and none of the post was like stuff he does on the court. It was just like gritty, hardworking leader. Sick. Darren's like, I need that guy. I don't know. I thought he did all he could in this one. Was just never going to be a game where Connor Enright was going to be able to like find success against a Keen Wagler, if we're being honest.
Yeah, tough assignment. Tough assignment. Keaton is one of one. Even in a league with other star point guards, other star perimeter All American level players, the challenge of dealing with a 6'6" lottery pick is just different than dealing with Bennett Sturts, than Braden Smith, than all these guys. So give Enright credit for doing his best. And, 18 points on 15 shots is not the greatest Keaton Wagler game, but he didn't affect the game on the other end at all. And that's the full story of this. Okay. Any final thoughts?
I mean, Illinois kind of turned the page game, and if you're Indiana, you want to turn the page right back, and you want to reread this page probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens next for Illinois. West Coast trip. Think you got to go 2-0 in it to make that Michigan game real interesting. And they certainly can. They'll be favored in both those games on the road. We'll see if Andrei Stoyakovich shows up or if he's in a hyperbaric chamber.